Wicked Housewives Club with Sheila SiStar and Kanavos here on New Earth International.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wicked Housewives. We're so happy to be with you again today. Kat, I love you. I haven't seen you for a couple of weeks. It's great to see you again. We have a kind of a special show today. This is something that Kat has experienced, something that she has to share, and she has some very important information that she can give to us to help prevent what has happened to her. I'm so sorry this happened, but thank you for sharing this very personal thing on the show today.
Sure, Sheila. So for those of you listening, one of the things that is most frightening that can happen in life is to have a break-in. But what's even more frightening is when you're home and the person breaks in. Those are called cat burglars. And they usually hit you at night. They're all dressed in black. They hit you at night because they want to make sure that your wallet and your jewelry are there. If you're out of the house, your wallet, your money, your jewelry aren't going to be there. So they come in at night, and we've had a few burglaries in our country club here where the people were coming in at night, taking people's wallets, taking people's jewelry, the women's jewelry, while they were right there in the house. So it just so happened that my husband left for a couple of days to go out of town, and the day after he left, at about 3:20 in the morning, I was asleep in bed with my cat, and I hadn't gone to bed until 3 o'clock in the morning, Sheila, because I was watching Scarface on TV with Al Pacino, let me show you my little friend. Yeah, so I'm watching all these people get blown up and shot, and they're all, the Colombians are running over their wall and getting into the house, and I'm like, oh my God, that's so awful, right? So I turn off the TV and I go to sleep, and my cat, Felix, you've probably seen my little Fifi, right? Sleeps in bed with me, and I'm all wrapped around him, and suddenly he gets out of the bed, and he jumps off the bed and takes off, and I'm like, well, he must need to use the bathroom or something, right? And then I hear crunching beside my bed because I had some bags from actually one of the big grocery stores next to my bed. And I'm thinking, well, that's weird. Why would Felix climb up on the dresser and try to go through my bags? What is he doing? And I kind of peered over the sheets, and I saw a big shadow. Because I said, Fifi, what are you doing?
You said that out loud?
Yeah, because I thought it was Felix. Come here, Fifi. Come on. And I saw a shadow go out past the bed and out into the hall. And I thought, my gosh, there's a coyote in the house. And I remember thinking, I didn't leave any doors, any windows open. How did a coyote get in the house? How did something that big get in the house, right? So then I just peered over the covers, and there was a man in the hallway, and he turned on this little tiny flashlight, really small one, and he had his back to me, and he was looking because he was trying to figure out where he was in the house. Oh my God. And I flew out of that bed. I didn't even think. It was an automatic response. I flew out of the bed, slammed the door shut as loud as I could, and I started screaming at the top of my lungs, help, help. And he ran down the hallway and ran out so hard, he knocked the screen off the kitchen door. He had jimmied the kitchen door open and had come in knowing that I had just gone to sleep. And he had gone into my office, got into my Chanel purse. He took the purse. He emptied out the wallet so that I had my credit cards and all that stuff. He didn't want to take that. He took the money. He took the Chanel purse. At least it's got taste, right? And he took my keys apart on my keychain, and he threw them kind of all around on the chair. And I think he thought I would never know that the keys were missing to the door, because I guess he realized the house was so large and there were so many other things in there that he wasn't going to have time to look through in the dark. He wanted to come back during the day. So he took the keys. So when I did that, it took the police 7 minutes to get to my house. I was talking with the 911 operator, and I said, how long is it going to be till they get here? Took them
Did you call that on your cell phone?
I called it on the house phone. So they had the address to be able to come to the address. My cell phone was actually in my office. I didn't have it on me. So he didn't take my cell phone. He didn't take my computer. He didn't want to take anything that you could track. He took money, he took the purse, and he took my keys. So when I called the police, I said, can you call the front guard gate and tell them, you know, what's going on? And the 911 operator said, well, I don't have that phone number. Do you know the phone number? I said, look it up. Look at him. No, I don't have the phone number. And she said, well, the police have to go around to the front gate because you are a gated community and your back gate is locked. And I said, if you call the security guards, they can meet the police at the back gate and bring them in sooner because I'm closer to the back gate. So the moral of the story is you should always have a lock on your door. If you don't have a deadbolt on your door, get one made. And the other thing is now we have a great security system in the home, but I know that's very expensive for a lot of you women, especially single women raising children who don't have a lot of money to spend on the security system. But what I did before I got that security system in, like the next day, is I called my husband up in San Diego at 2 a.m. and said, get in a car and come home. I'm not staying here by myself. We put pins in the bottom of all the sliding glass doors. We put dowels in the back of them so you can't jimmy it open. You can't get it open with the pin. And then when he came home, before we even decided on a security system and a security group to go with, he put up floodlights everywhere. So motion detector floodlights. Right. So anything walking past there is going to set those lights off because anybody trying to break in your home at night, they don't want to be seen. So you're taking their element of surprise away, their dark away. They like to hide in the shadows. You're taking the shadows away. And then the other thing we did was my husband went and got security cameras. They're really inexpensive. And he put them up, and you can actually have them come onto your phone so that I can, you know, tap it into my phone and watch all the rooms from my house, in my house, from my bedroom or wherever I am. So if I think I hear something in the house, I can lock that door, not go out, and look on my phone, check all the rooms in the house on my phone from the safety of my bedroom.
Kat, with you having a gated community, that gives you the impression that you're safe. What happened there?
Well,
that was a false safety.
It is false safety. And here's one of the sad parts about probably what's happening with our economy, Sheila. People are desperate for money. They're desperate, especially if they're out of job, and if they've got a drug problem, that makes it even worse. And this man, looking at him from behind, I knew right away that this was somebody in their prime. This was a man in his prime between 25 and 31, and he was in really good shape. So you didn't want to mess with him. You wanted to deal with him from afar. So you wanted to get yourself in a safe place and lock the door because there's no way I could take him on. The best
you
I could
had
do,
a lock on your bedroom
Yes.
door. See,
now I've got a deadbolt
probably
too.
anybody's got locks on their bedroom doors. I mean, that's just not that common.
Our bedroom door locks, but now we have a deadbolt. But here's the thing about the question. It was a great question that you just asked. You know how in California you've got a wash that goes through most of the communities, you know, because when it rains in the mountains, you get flooding.
Yes.
Those washes are never secure. The only way you can really secure them is to have security cameras. And we're working with the police force and the security in our country club to get cameras up on there. So a couple of days later, there was a strange-looking man walking around our house again. Between our house and the house next door. And fortunately, because I play tennis in my country club and we're big partiers, everybody knows us. So when they heard about it, right away, our friends, our families, everybody in the community is watching out. And they noticed this strange man walking around the houses. Fortunately, they called it into the security guards. If you see something unusual, call it in, no matter what it is, whether it's in a community, at an airport, at a train station, wherever it is, call it in. Call somebody, tell somebody, see something strange, tell somebody. So the security guards came down and they saw him. And they said, "What are you doing in here?" And he said, "Oh, I'm just visiting some friends." And they said, "What's the address?" And he said, "Well, I don't really remember their address." And they said, "Okay, take us there." And the guy jumped over the wall. We're a walled-in community. He jumped over the wall because they're in great shape.
Oh, boy.
And took off. Well, the security guards called the police. And the police caught him at the university, the College of the Desert, right down the street from us, and arrested him. Now, we don't know if he's part of that group. But the thing is, I believe and usually when you've got a cat burglar, they know everything about you before they ever come into your house. They know your schedule. They know how many people are in there. They know if you've got a dog. They know if you've got a security system. They know when you're there, when you're not there. And they know that because they're scouting your house during the day. So that guy could have been a scout. But by cracking down on the security, having people be aware and call it in, not just saying, "Oh, that guy looks really weird." "Oh, yeah, he does," and just going about your business. We need to take care of each other. We're community. People are community.
Right. Had you heard of any break-ins prior to that? I mean,
Yes.
Was there a role?
We've had a rash of them, not just us. All of the country clubs. All of the country clubs have been having a rash of break-ins. And part of it is because people feel really secure because you're in a country club. You've got 24-hour security. You're in a walled, gated community. But unfortunately, there is a gang out here who are really in shape and they can come right over those walls. And so you've got to get yourself secure. So if I'm not secure in a gated community, you can imagine how nervous women must be who are in single-family homes who don't have a man around. You can't call your husband at 2 a.m. There isn't one. So some of the things that you can do is make sure you have no dark spots outside your house. Use those lights, motion detector lights, and have a friend find somebody to put cameras in all the rooms of your house and connect it to your smartphone. Everybody has a smartphone anymore. Everybody has them. And so security isn't the way it used to be where it costs an arm and a leg. There are so many things that you can do now to really keep you and your family secure, especially as a woman.
Right. And then also having a team, a buddy, or, somebody I know in our community, because fire is our big fear over here, because we have just one way in and one way out, and we are just surrounded in trees, and we are next to the river. So, I mean, we could get into the river if we had to, but we have a community safety groups where we're kind of divided into groups. And so if there were an emergency, everybody has a buddy to go to.
What a great idea.
I don't know if you guys have the fire season. Just about everybody does down there. But in the case of an emergency, if everybody had at least one buddy that you were responsible for each other in an emergency situation. And then if that buddy's gone, we have groups of 8 here. So, and there's a lot of people here who have, are elderly or disabled or whatever. So you always want to find, for somebody who's healthy, to pick a disabled neighbor that you can be buddies with, so that I used to live in a high-rise in downtown Spokane, and we had a fire there. And
in the high-rise?
Yes. And I was kind of the person over there, and I knew exactly which apartments to go to get them into the stairwell and get them out. And I'm telling you, there's just nothing better than having a buddy system, and that's something you might be able to bring up at your country club meetings. Especially now with this happening, it would probably be a great thing for the community to gather and have a neighborhood watch.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And we don't have so much fires here because we are a country club and we tend to be very green. So it's not so much fires, but earthquakes is something that we have to think about. And so,
nice.
On your in your neighborhood, on your street, you do have to kind of check on other people, the elderly that live in here, and make sure everybody's safe. But I like the idea of a buddy system where, if you're locked in your room and you're holding that door shut, if you call your neighbor next door and they know, they could call the security guards and make sure that they get there right away while you're on the phone with 911. Because, you can't always do – I didn't want to get off the phone with her because, for one thing, when the police came and they're yelling, hey, we're the police, we're in your house, I don't know that they are. I don't know who are you? Yeah, you could just be tricking me, right? And so I said to the girl on the phone, ask him, you ask him what his name is, and he needs to tell me his name, and it needs to be the same as the name you're telling me. And so it did. But, sometimes these people are very tricky. And it took 7 minutes for the police to get there, and that's a long time. A lot can be done in 7 minutes. Mm-hmm. So you have to be kind of trickier than they are, a little smarter than they are, which is hard because these people are professionals at breaking in and grabbing stuff and going.
Right. Well, your husband must be very happy that you reacted so bravely. I mean, I don't know if I would lay there and try to act dead or, to get up and
play possum.
You were to have that lock on your door. That made that approach possible. For somebody who doesn't have a lock on their door, that might not have been the best thing to do. You don't know if he's going to turn around and attack or whatever. So,
well, I think that even if you don't have a lock on your door, you've got a door between him and you. Even if he's got a knife or he's got a weapon, he's got to get through the door. So throw your body against the door and scream and scream and scream. That is much better than laying there and playing possum, playing dead. He knows you're there. You're not fooling him. He knows you're there. Right. So, yeah, and then the next thing you want to do is, try to find your animals. It took me almost 2 days to find Felix. He was hiding. No. He was terrified. He was absolutely terrified, and I thought that he was out, and got outside because the door was open. And so our neighbors got into their golf carts. They went down into the wash calling his name. And he does know his way around outside. He can get back in, although he doesn't like to be out much. He can't get back in. But he was actually hiding in another part of the house. And when I finally found him and I picked him up and hugged him, he just peed all over me. he just, oh my goodness. My husband's looking at him going, is he ever going to stop? I mean, I had this puddle around me. But the poor little guy was just traumatized.
Oh, wow. Well, and now the security guy up there, they probably need to kind of revamp and rethink things.
Well, we have we're pulling together a whole new security group and a homeowners security group, and Peter's very involved in that, and we have a couple of friends who are now going to head it. So I really think that one of the changes that are going to be made is we will have cameras in the wash, because I think that's where they're coming in and out. And if they're going over the walls, as soon as you change, the quickest way, Psychology 101, the quickest way to change somebody else's behavior is to change yours. Then they have to respond to the new behavior. So the quickest way to change the behavior of these cat burglars is to change yours so that it's not that easy for them to be successful. They're going to go find an easier place to hit. They're going to go find lower hanging fruit. And although I feel badly about the fact that they're going to go and look for somebody else, those people need to secure themselves as well. If everybody is secured, it's going to make it harder and harder for them to just break into your place at night while you're sleeping, because that's dangerous. That's a psychopath.
Well, he messed with the wrong girl this time.
lights up like Christmas now. If you walk right across the front of our back porch, it's just like bang.
Right. Well, and Kat, again, you know, out of something that was not good, look what has come from it, because you're taking action. You've taken your whole community into that next step of security and awareness. Awareness is probably one of the biggest things that is going to make changes around there. So good for you, and I'm so glad you're safe and
thank you.
Wow.
It's really frightening, and it makes you kind of angry. But then you have to realize, you know, we have spirit guides and guardian angels. We're their job. They take that job very seriously, and they were certainly working with me when this guy came into the house, because it could have been a very different ending to this. But you know, that's why it's so important that we connect with our spirit guides through our dreams, prayers, and meditations, and trust in them to keep us safe even when we're in a dangerous situation.
That's right, because it could happen. I mean, danger happens. And again, you know, if you can just stay you know, I mean, the bottom line is, do you trust your guidance or not? You know, do you trust yourself, your relationship with your guidance? And in all cases, it's I think it's vital that we amp up that relationship quite a bit.
And another thing to remember, and I remember my dad always telling me this: you don't have to worry about things that go bump in the night. You have to worry about the things that made the things go bump in the night. And you go find them and you fix them one way or another, because being frightened and hiding isn't always the best thing to do unless they don't know where you are. But if they do, if you're proactive, 9 times out of 10, somebody who's breaking in is a bully. And if you confront a bully, they'll run. You make noise, you scream, you get 2 pots together, and you slam them together as loud as you can while you're screaming.
Right.
He'll run.
Right.
Yeah, he doesn't want confrontation. Yeah.
And how are you? Like, are you okay to be home by yourself now? Or
yeah, I am. I trust the security system. I turn it on every night. I know how it works. I feel really secure with it. You know, Felix is not peeing on the bed anymore. He wouldn't go into the laundry room where his box was, because that's where the guy was standing. He was standing right in front of that door. So he just walked around the house, you know, peering around the doors, and he'd stand there and he'd listen. And now he's much better, so I don't have to change the sheets all the time, which is making life a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
But yeah, poor little guy was just so scared. And then my female Siamese, she was like, yeah, he was in here. He ran out. It's over with. When do we eat? The dish is empty.
Yeah, whatever. Oh, well, you know what? Maybe we should do that meditation.
Yeah, I think that's
I bet you are like it. I bet balancing right now is kind of on the forefront of your life.
I do this meditation every night before I go to sleep. So who knows? Maybe he was blinded by that mirror. So all of you listening, get comfortable, and you can close your eyes or you can keep them open and watch me. You can do whatever you want. We're going to do a really short meditation. It's a protection meditation. And I do it every night before I go to bed. I find that sometimes if I fall asleep during my meditation, I know I'm falling asleep in a state of grace, and that I'm opening up all the doors and windows to my spirit guides and my dream world and my guardian angels. And that's a wonderful feeling. So get comfortable, have your feet flat if possible. Try not to cross your legs because we want the flows and everything to be open. I want you to imagine that a spirit guide is walking up to you and handing you a talisman, a feather or a flower or a crystal. And you're going to take that crystal and you are going to surround yourself with a mirrored bubble of light. It's a reflective bubble that only allows that which is the highest and best to come in to your bubble, and it's brought by your spirit guides. And this bubble is now filling up with healing golden light. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths of that healing golden light in. And after we take the breath in, we're going to blow any negativity, any fear, anything that is not of the highest and best out all the way across the room. Okay? Deep breath in. Hold it. Imagine little specks of negativity connecting to the breath. Blow it out across the room. Another deep breath in. Hold it. Blow it out across the room. One more. Deep breath all the way to the bottom of your diaphragm. In. Hold it, and blow it out across the room. Now imagine yourself settling into that sacred bubble. We wish it so, and therefore it is.
Amen. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So we didn't get to do what we had planned to do today, which was to go through the tarot cards for Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, and Bernie Sanders, but we can do that next week. Our tarot card for today, if we want to talk about that, it's May 10th. And our tarot card for today is the 9 of Diamonds. It's the 9 of Diamonds.
Diamonds, uh-huh.
And finally, we're into some diamonds.
Yeah, we haven't had that yet, have we?
No, we had swords for a long time. It was like, 9 of Diamonds, which is the 9 of Pentacles. That's the money card. This is a beautiful card. If you look at this, the 9 of Pentacles, if your birthday is today, or you're dating somebody whose birthday is today, or you're in a relationship, or somebody in your family is today's birthday, which is the 10th of May, they are the 9 of Pentacles. And these are people who are comfortable with wealth. They're comfortable with money. They're comfortable with beautiful things. And they're comfortable in that lifestyle. So some people, you'll notice, they'll suddenly win the lottery, and then they lose all their money because they're not really comfortable in that lifestyle. This person is extremely comfortable. And the difference between this person, if you notice, they're dressed very well. It's understated wealth. Understated wealth. That's how you know somebody is comfortable in their position with the Pentacles. They know how to wear just enough jewelry. Like my mom used to always say, put on 7 pieces and take off 1.
Oh.
Choose the one you want to take off. Never wear more than 7 pieces of jewelry. You'll look like you're wearing your wealth, and that's not what you want to look like ever. So this person here, you'll notice, they look extremely wealthy, but if you look at them closely, they're understated. You don't see chains hanging off of them. There's earrings. Their clothing is beautiful. Their clothing is full of roses. She has a hawk on her arm. That's a sign of wealth. Only royalty were hawkers in a beautiful garden. So this person who is born today, May 10th, is someone who is extremely comfortable being around other wealthy people, extremely comfortable around money, and they'll never look gaudy. They'll always look classy.
Well, that seems like kind of well balanced.
It is. Yeah, that people say wealth is the root of all evil. It's not. It's the worship of wealth that is the root to all evil. I know so many wealthy people who give a lot of their money to charity. The charity of their choice, not the charity somebody tells them they have to give it to. They do a lot of good. They're very comfortable in their money. They're understated. They have nice things, but they're not show-offs. And that's the difference. But when somebody will turn their back on their family or their friends, and nothing is more important than money and the successful building up of an empire using money, that's someone you need to be careful of.
You know, do you think that people who have this balance in money, that they have a certain vibration of gratitude?
Yes.
That kind of keeps that flowing? Because, you know, people who are having a struggle have a hard time being grateful, finding things to be grateful. But it seems like if you can find that gratitude, it seems like it helps the flow. And then if you have money, then and you're still in gratitude, I think that leaves out that ego, which then takes you to the downside.
And I think another thing, Sheila, that's really important is understanding that nobody gets anywhere on this earth plane by themselves. Okay, there are people who help you. Sometimes you don't even know they are. You also have your spirit guides, your guardian angels, and yourself as well. But your spirit guides and your guardian angels are very, very important to success because they keep you on the right path, and they speak to you through your intuition, your gut instincts on whether you should be with somebody, whether you should do a business deal with somebody, whether you should be here, whether you should do this or that. And you need to give thanks to them because we don't do it by ourselves ever. Right. And so if you find that maybe you're not somebody who has as much money as you would like to have, I mean, you could be a multi-billionaire and still not have as much money as you would like to have. You need to ask yourself if you have as much money as you need to have. There's a difference between want and need.
Right.
And many of us have our needs met. And there's nothing wrong with wanting more. But thinking that you don't have enough because you don't have what you want, which is more, is not always accurate.
Right. Yeah, I've met some people who don't have very much money and they're very happy and balanced and secure. And then, you know, and then there's the other side that, you know, all it's caused is chaos in their lives. And that's, you know, that's unfortunate. And, you know, like you said, if you have your guidance to help you through, I raised my teenagers, my children on guidance. I don't know how people do it without guidance. That's a hard job.
It is.
And if I hadn't had guidance, there was a lot of times that I chose the way of guidance, and it wouldn't have been my usual reaction. And it proved to be quite peaceful. It was the peaceful way. It was a more loving way to handle situations. So, yeah, you're right. The guidance can be used on every single decision or choice that you make. You know, you need to kind of slow down.
And yes.
Take a moment, ask, feel it. I just taught my grandgirls how to use the muscle test to ask a question.
Kinesthetics.
Yeah, and this is where you ask a question, and you have to first ask your body, which way is yes? My yes is forward. My no is back. And any question I ask, any food, if I want to find out if this particular food is good for me, I'll ask my body, do we need this today? And my body will tell me. I can go to a store. You know, would this blouse be good for my friend for a gift? Would this fit her? And I can use that. It's guidance using me. It's a perfect relationship. And it's wonderful that I was able to teach my little girls that.
That is great. I've heard of it where you use, you know, the muscle to I've never heard of it your way, but what a great idea. I'm going to try that.
You stand perfectly still and relax, and you ask your body, which way means yes? All three of my girls had a different yes.
Now, do you close
We're
your eyes
also-
to do this?
If you want.
Huh.
I usually am holding whatever it is and looking at it, but in the beginning, if you need to concentrate, first you need to find out which way is yes. You stand perfectly still and say, which way is yes? One of my girls, it was sideways. I'm like, okay, which way is no? It was forward. Okay, now we've got that down. And I went into the kitchen and I started picking out the foods. And I said, let's see what your body wants. And so they were just, they were just amazed. And I pick a piece of clothing and I said, is this going to fit? It was fun. It's relationship with yourself. It's relationship with your guidance. It's an action of trust. It's a tool. And it's so simple, and you can use it anywhere. I have people calling me all the time asking me, for advice or need to talk or whatever. And when they ask me for advice, I'll stand up and I'll find the answer that way. And my little girls were going, Lola, why do you keep standing up? I said, well, honey, somebody's asking me something. I had to find the answer. It's an amazing, simple tool that you can use absolutely everywhere.
Oh,
and
what a great tool.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I bet you could pick up that security system and say,
do I need this? Yeah.
Do I need to speak to my security people? Yes. Do I need to call my husband? No. I mean, seriously, it can be used for absolutely anything. It's a wonderful tool.
It is. I'm going to try that. I really am. Yeah.
Go into your kitchen and start picking out the things that you eat and see which ones actually are good for you and which aren't. I'm not saying good
pick
for
up that piece of candy and you fall on the floor.
Well, and every day your body is going to be changing. So this is a thing that you would use every single day, because some days your body might need this particular thing and some days you don't. And it would be so cool. I see this in the future. We're going to have a machine that we can just scan ourselves and it will say, well, you need 2 bananas and 7 grapes today to get yourself all balanced. Well, here until we get that.
You just see calling up the doctor and he says, take 2 bananas and a grape and call me in the morning.
Right? That's the way it should be.
They scan you.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, but it is an excellent tool for especially for foods, and even when you go to the store to buy a medicine or a vitamin. Mm-hmm. Ask your body if it needs it. It could be you don't need it at all.
Yeah, great idea.
Yeah, yeah.
This show just had all kinds of good ideas.
It's our idea
show. We're on a roll.
And while we're at it.
Oh gosh. Well, all of you guys listening in the audience, we'd love to get your feedback on this show today, this special segment. So, you can go to my Facebook page, which is the Kanavos Show. Leave me questions or messages. Go to Sheila's page, which is
SheilaJeanBurger.org.
And that's your website, right?
That's my website.
And your Facebook page is what?
And my Facebook page is Sheila Jean Burger.
Okay. Go there. Leave us questions. We'll answer them on the next show.
Absolutely.
We want to do that. You're part of our party here.
Yeah.
You're part
Absolutely.
of our sister.
And that's right. And we're so grateful that you've been tuning in. We're getting, we keep doing more shows. It's that good. So.
Yeah, and we have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. You take good care of yourself.
I will. And you, everybody listening, tune in next week. We didn't get to it this time, but man, did I find out some really interesting stuff. about the people who are running for president. Oh my gosh. I went back to every single one of Donald Trump's wives and figured out what their tarot cards are, and you're not going to believe some of this stuff. You're just not.
This is gonna be a hot show next week.
It is. Be here or be square.
All right, peeps. Thanks a lot for joining us. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.